So much has been said about this track, the storylines that it creates. Can't wait as it plays out. The pace truck is off. That's Daniel Suarez, your pole winner in that orange truck on the inside. He will lead the field to green. Brett Moffitt on the outside. They're in the start zone, and Suarez gets us started at Kentucky.
I guarantee you, every one of those drivers on the outside is looking in their rearview mirror, looking for a hole, looking for a way to get low on the track.
Look how tight they're staying next to those trucks on the inside.
Great job by Moffitt to hang in there on the outside as Suarez tries to push him up a little bit.
That had to go as well as could be expected for that front row there. Now can Moffitt get to the bottom? Looks like he's going to be able to clear and get down.
Well, he's not the leader, but that was a great first lap for Brett Moffitt to be able to slide into that second spot, and Daniel Suarez leads the first lap. He hopes to lead the last and maybe win his first career race in the Camping World Truck Series.
That was a great lap by all these drivers getting around this racetrack. Very, very slippery outside the groove.
On board with the 88 and that 360 cam you were talking about, Phil. That's the 05. Normally John West Townley in that truck, but Townley suffering from concussion-like symptoms, so it's Parker Kligerman in that truck here tonight.
It's right along with Christopher Bell in that Ford truck inside of that 07 of Parker Kligerman.
Talked to Jerry Baxter, Bell's crew chief, the winning team from last time out, but he wasn't confident in the truck that they had here yesterday during practice. Made a lot of changes to that truck. Looks like so far so good.
Well, they went back in line, as you see Bell getting in front of Parker Kligerman. They went back toward the teammates' setups. And when you've got Kyle Busch as a teammate and three-time winner already this season, William Byron, why not?
Those racers, they love listening to Kyle Busch. Jerry Baxter said the competition meetings are so beneficial for the young guys. Just hearing Kyle's insight, his knowledge about what it takes to run fast anywhere we go, they really benefit from it.
Yeah, Kyle just grabbed another spot from Tyler Reddick that moves him up into the top 5.
Good look at Kyle and that 18 truck. 45 wins in the Camping World Truck Series, second all-time only to Ron Hornaday, who has won 51 times. But this could be a record-breaking night for Kyle's team, Kyle Busch Motorsports. One more win would make KBM the winningest organization in Truck Series history.
And you need to watch the 9 truck of William Byron. You see how he's all over the back of the 11 of Moffitt? That means he's a little bit better right now. Even though the air is not directly on his nose, he's able to keep that gap really tight. I think if Byron gets around the 11 of Moffitt, he could go do something with our leader, Suarez.
You know, guys, we talk all the time about these drivers searching for grip, moving up the racetrack. They have all the grip they need right down on the bottom. The only problem is there really is no grip outside the bottom of the racetrack. We hope that we will widen that groove out a little bit here during the course of this race. And there you see right there, John Hunter Nemechek outside Cole Custer.
And, you know, there's a lot of racers here in Kentucky. You got the Xfinity race tomorrow night, the Sprint Cup Stars on Saturday night. They are as relieved about the start of this truck race tonight as the truckers are. They're like, maybe there's hope. Maybe there's room out there where we can widen this groove out and have some side-by-side racing. I'm really impressed so far for what we've seen.
On board with Matt Crafton running in the 7th position. That's Tyler Reddick just ahead of him. You guys talk about how difficult it is to pass, and that's going to create some decision-making, and we'll see how these young guys and the veterans alike, but how well they make those decisions in the later stages of the race when you've got to be patient or you've got to pick your opportunity to make your move.
You see those last lap speeds here. Our track record coming into this season was about just under 180 miles an hour. The last lap, Daniel Suarez was faster than 180 miles an hour, average 6 laps into the race.
Kyle Busch running 5th. Hermie?
Started 7th, up to 5th. Only mentioned by Kyle Busch on the radio, a little bit loose on entry, and he's on the splitter a little too much, especially into turn 3. So look for them to make maybe an adjustment at the end of this run if the air pressure building up in this truck does not fix that issue.
The splitter that Hermie talks about is the red spoiler on the front of the truck. See how it's right down next to the road? That's what these racers want. That's the most downforce. That's the least drag. It gets them through the air the best. If it gets too low, though, and you start bouncing off the track, you lose grip in your front tires, and you can't turn like you need to. Looks like Kyle's not able to drive away from Reddick or Crafton, so he's got handling issues right now. See Crafton heating up the back of that 29 truck.
I love that view from on board this 360-degree camera. You can watch his hands, watch his movement on the steering wheel.
And remember, these trucks have a tremendous amount of drag on them. They punch a big hole in the air. So when Matt Crafton is at the end of the straightaway, he's really gaining on the 29 truck of Tyler Reddick. He's able to pull up. That's when you have to make those tough decisions Vince talked about. Do you duck inside and try to grab the spot, or do you just play it safe and be patient for now?
You can see the way Crafton gains going into turn 3, but through that end of the track, turn 3 and 4, seems like Crafton is definitely faster, but he can't get quite underneath of Reddick to make that pass.
William Byron gets underneath, and they catch the lap truck at the same time. Man, that was really close. Norm Benning was in the groove, and somehow Byron was able to squeeze through underneath of Moffitt. Great run, great move by Byron.
On board with Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick currently running 4th. That's Moffitt right in front of him. Remember, Moffitt wasn't scheduled to be in this truck, the 11 truck. Matt Tifft originally scheduled to be in the truck, but because of some medical issues that Tifft is dealing with, in fact, a brain tumor, had to have surgery. Brett Moffitt got the call to drive that 11 truck for Red Horse.
There's the pass I was talking about. Look at that. Wow. Squeezing 3 wide into the corner around the lap truck. You could see the 9 truck getting loose down into the turn. Wow, that was close.
I like the fact that the 11 truck really had his right side tires outside of the groove, and it was able to hold it.
And just to finish up on Matt Tifft, watching, we're thinking about you. We're glad you came through surgery great. A lot of people praying for you, young man.
Yeah, hurry back, buddy.
Can't wait to see you back. It's been a great start here at Kentucky, especially if you're Daniel Suarez. Suarez has led them all so far. Back at Kentucky Speedway, it's Thursday night racing for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. 16 laps in. Daniel Suarez has led them all so far as you look at the 8 of Nemechek and the 0-5 of Parker Kligerman.
They're trailing.
Racing for 11th.
Trailing Cameron Haley there just ahead. There's Spencer Gallagher. Oh, tried to squeeze into a tight spot there. Looked like the nose of the truck gave up on him. You could see Timothy Peters with his head down, just digging past him.
And just look how much momentum he lost by there. We're going to ride along with Johnny Sauter as he's going to follow Timothy Peters by Spencer Gallagher. Or attempt to, anyway.
Phil, you know, we talked about how tough it is on that outside. We've seen them side by side. But, man, they're running on eggshells when they're up there in that high groove. If anybody gets loose on the bottom, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, they're not going to have that extra room. The guy on the outside is not going to be able to pull up as we see Matt Crafton grab 7th spot away from Tyler Reddick. They're not going to have room to move up or give that guy in the bottom some room to get that truck straight.
And remember, Matt Crafton, the master of the mile and a half. He has been so good throughout his career on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. And when you look at laps led this season, it's just been a dominating statistic in Crafton's favor, even though he's won just once on a mile and a half. He even doesn't have the most points scored on the mile and a half this season because the results haven't been his way. But, man, he's been good.
Yeah, and yesterday didn't go his way either, Vince. They weren't happy with that 88 truck. Talked to Matt this morning. He said he and Junior really changed the truck around, made some pretty serious chassis adjustments to it for tonight, and it looks like it's paying off. He's got some speed.
Yeah, to your point, he's led almost 5 times the amount of laps on the mile and a half as William Byron, and William already has 2 wins on the mile and a half.
William took one of those wins away from Crafton down in Texas, passing him late in the race.
Timothy Peters has actually scored the most points on the mile-and-a-half tracks if you really want to dig deep into the statistics. But I think anytime we roll into a mile and a half, Matt Crafton's name is going to be quickly mentioned.
Without a doubt.
On board with Daniel Hemrick as the caution clock has now gone inside of 10 minutes.
Daniel Hemrick equaled his career best last time out at St. Louis with a 3rd. Look at the draft. Look at the momentum he gains from the draft.
Yeah, he just is able to really pull up, and then Byron dives down in the corner and gets through the center better, but it's all made up on the straightaway by Hemrick.
Right in front of him is the 9 of William Byron. Caitlin?
Well, so far, so good for the 9 team of William Byron. You guys were talking about the fact he's already knocked off a couple of wins so far this season. His crew chief, Rudy Fugel, told me he's most impressed with how quickly William can get acclimated to these new racetracks. Byron making his first start in a truck here at Kentucky Speedway. He hasn't really missed a beat. The biggest feedback he's given is that his truck is pretty good. It's just a little free in on both ends. But he told me the goal for tonight, get that 51st win for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Oh, and also beat the boss, Kyle Busch himself.
I think that must be Christopher Bell's goal, too. He just drove around Kyle Busch. Put Christopher Bell up in the 5th spot, dropping Kyle back at position.
Talking to a lot of the drivers before they went on the racetrack yesterday for practice, they really felt like getting in turn number 3 was going to be the tricky part of this racetrack, because the racetrack really flattens out a little bit before you get down to the corner. So they're still wide open turning in before the bank really catches them.
And talked about Christopher Bell being a truck on the move. Now he's closed up on the back of Brett Moffitt. So this truck is handling well, and he's doing a great job. Look at him up the hill a little bit there, widening that groove out. That's a great sign.
You know, and Christopher Bell, they're coming back to a track that he raced last year. So when they come back a second time, you think, well, that's going to be an advantage. But then they come back to this track, and they've repaved it and redone and reconfigured it. Takes away that advantage that a young driver would hope to get.
Yeah, and it's really a different racetrack, too. We talk about them increasing the banking down in 1 and 2 to 17 degrees. That really changed that into the racetrack. A lot of the drivers said that 3 and 4 really still races a lot like it used to, just more grip and smoother than it was.
You can see that definitely 2 distinct lines there. The 11 truck of Moffitt up a little bit, but watch this momentum here that Bell's going to have as he dives off the racetrack under the yellow line, which is allowed here, and makes that move.
Christopher Bell. Oh, and
engine goes. Looks like certainly at least an oil line or something on Brett Moffitt. What a tough break for that young man.
Brett Moffitt was running 5th at the time. Had just been passed by Christopher Bell.
Bring it right to the garage.
They're going to take it to the garage. Boy, what a disappointing outcome for Brett Moffitt. Qualified on the front row.
Now.
Last year's Sprint Cup Series Rookie of the Year, making his first start of the season.
These NASCAR Camping World Truck Series engines are just
Bulletproof.
You can't break them.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if maybe something cut an oil line or what might have happened to that truck.
Garrett Smithley in the 07 will get the free pass, and Moffitt heads to the garage.
Wow.
That's our first caution of the night. 26 laps completed. Let's take a look at it.
Watch this move that C. Bell makes down off the road.
I wonder if maybe something was going wrong with that motor, because he had so much momentum. Now we talk about the draft as we see the engine expire on Brett's truck, but maybe things started tightening up a little bit, and that's what really made it look like Christopher Bell was running about 10 miles an hour faster than him. Guys, I'm just glad it didn't dump all the oil out on the racetrack.
Phil, I saw oil come out of the back of the truck. Let's see if we can check this out. You can see the truck on the outside. This is Moffitt. He goes down into turn 1. The engine starts to expire.
Yeah, there's definitely a stream of oil back behind that truck.
And you know, the next truck that comes through that oil is Kyle Busch, and he just sort of straddled it as he went into the corner and got above it. Moffitt does a great job with all that oil on his tires, getting off the racing surface. That could have been much bigger if those two drivers hadn't done such a good job.
I think the fact that NASCAR gave these guys an extra set of tires, which will mean that they'll all come to pit road now. It might have been a little early if they only had 3 sets in the pits, but with that 4th set in the pits, I think we come in now, certainly at least put right sides on.
Well, and we heard the talk in the garage area that a whole lot of these teams were planning on 2 tires at a time. They don't think they can afford to give up the track position. Goodyear's done an amazing job of bringing this tire here with all the grip and the new surface. It's a great tire, and the times, Phil, we were just noticing hadn't fallen off that, but just a couple of tenths.
From the start of the race, from the very fastest laps to the very end of the race, right before the caution flag, or the end of that segment of the race.
So there's some decisions to make down on pit road. We definitely want to get some gas, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to put right side tires on too, because there was a little bit of blistering in practice, not by very many of the vehicles, but I think let's put right side tires on. Take a look at those right sides we take off. There's Chad Kendrick, Daniel Hemrick's crew chief. Daniel's got the 3rd spot right now.
Not many of these teams, I don't think the pit road will be open this time. We've got a safety truck down in turn 3 and 4. You can see that, but Phil, I don't think many of these teams ran 25 straight laps during practice, so they're going to want to get those tires off and see if they have an issue.
Yeah, the most I heard anybody that had run in a row was John Hunter Nemechek, made a 22-lap run. That's the most I heard from anybody.
Now, they certainly put more than 22 laps on their tires, but it was in and out, maybe 40 or 50 laps, but not in a row.
A lot of oil dry going down after Moffitt's engine expired. You know, we saw the shot of the crew member up on the wall getting ready for these pit stops, and something to point out too, with all 3 of the series being here at Kentucky Speedway this weekend, a lot of the Cup crews are working on these truck teams, and quite a bit different than what we saw in our most recent race at Gateway, which was a standalone, and all the truck teams were out at Sonoma. So we expect to see some sharp pit stops tonight.
Yeah, one thing that for that team right there, Junior Joyner said he was really happy that he would have his regular crew back here.
Pit stops when we come back to Kentucky. Still cleanup ongoing here at Kentucky Speedway.
Truck towed a lot of oil, Vince.
Boy, Brett Moffitt's engine expired and left a lot of oil on the track. Get that cleaned up before our pit stops happen. Daniel Suarez has led them all so far. Started on pole and has been out front as we have completed 29 and approaching the completion of lap 30.
Really impressed with the run by Christopher Bell early on.
Me
Really
too.
struggled yesterday in practice. We talked to crew chief Jerry Baxter today, and he said, yeah, we really just didn't feel like we were very good, so we put in what our teammates were running, and that's what it's about, having teammates, especially when you get people like Kyle Busch and people like William Byron, who's won 3 races this year. Just use that information, work together. That's what they were doing, and he's got a great top 5 run going.
Cole Custer currently back in 17th. What's going on with the 00, Hermie?
Could be an interesting pit stop, Vince, for the 00 of Cole Custer. He's got a tight truck. They want to get him in to work on, make some adjustments. But the big issue is they cannot hear Cole Custer from the truck. Cole can hear the spotter, but they feel like it could be a problem with the microphone inside of his helmet. So on top of all the adjustments to the truck, they are contemplating a helmet swap for Cole Custer during this caution period to get where he can communicate with his team and spotter. We'll see how all this plays out for the 00.
Wow, that's interesting. Either one of you guys as drivers had that situation and had to deal with that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's happened before, and this is a great time of the race to have this this process take place. If he gives up all of his track position now, Phil, Cole Custer knows what he's looking for in the field of that truck. He can communicate that to the team if he gets a helmet.
Wires on the right side, Cole. Try to keep talk.
He can get that way. They can talk about that truck and improve it. He's all the way down in the 17th spot. It's early. Let's get this taken care of so I can tell y'all what I need to go faster. We know he's got the ability. He just needs to get his truck worked on.
There's only 5 trucks on the lead lap behind him, so might as well just bite the bullet, come in here, let's get it fixed so we can work on this thing. Still 120 laps to go.
Cole Custer, one of those racers that I think, frankly, I'll say I'm surprised that he's not in chase position right now after having won a race last year. Currently, Custer 20 points out of the chase, 12th in the standings.
That's a hard one to figure out, Vince. He was so fast every time he got in a truck last year. And this year, he's down in the standings, like you said, but the performance just hasn't been there. They haven't shown the speed that we're used to seeing out of that Cole Custer truck.
Really got off to a tough start, Mike. They were 24th at Daytona, 17th at Atlanta, 29th at Martinsville. So they were in a hole early, and then they had the crew chief swap too. I mean, remember Joe Shear Jr. left the team and moved over. Now Marcus Richmond, the crew chief on that 00.
They've had nothing but top 15 finishes since then, including that runner-up finish they had at Iowa, but they're looking for much more. Again, that youngster won as a 16-year-old. He won again last year at Gateway, so they were looking for multiple wins, I would think, full-time this year. He's doing a great job when he jumps over in the Xfinity car, so we know he has the talent, just a matter of them putting it all together here.
And it's not time to panic yet, but time is ticking. I mean, we only have 7 more races before we get to the chase, and then that's an important date in the schedule. We've got to have our ducks in a row and be chase eligible when we get there. We want to go win a championship.
There are 16 races before the chase. This is race 10. So you look at some of these other races on the schedule. Next up is Eldora. You know, you got to figure some of those dirt track guys are going to be the ones to beat there. Bristol, you're looking at Kyle Busch in that race, potentially Kyle Larson in there as well. So, I mean, there are going to be some races that are going to be really tough. The road course yet. So as you look at the standings as they run, Custer in a little bit of trouble, but I think everybody's feeling some of the urgency at this stage if you're not in already.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. And Daniel Suarez, who as our leader, is not chase eligible. Obviously chase eligible for the Xfinity Series, and certainly already pretty much locked his way in there with that win at Michigan.
Well, after all the cleanup, finally, thank you, the The pits are open, and they're headed to pit lane. Hermie's going to be down there waiting, and he's going to see Daniel Hemrick first. Hermie?
Vince, Daniel Hemrick and his crew chief, Chad Kendrick, back and forth about whether to take 2 or 4. Chad Kendrick said, turn your wheel 1/4 to the left when you stop, meaning it'll probably be a 2-tire stop. He is tight on center exit. Caitlin.
Well, William Byron has won on 2 mile-and-a-half racetracks previously this season. He told his team that he is loose at the start of the run, but it does tighten up at the end. He took 2 tires there. Daniel Suarez, the race leader. Truck is tight, landing in the center at 3 and 4, but not bad. He took 4 tires and wins the race off of pit road.
Well, there you see it. Most took 2.
I love it when the crew chiefs tell us the truth. There's going to be a lot of 2-tire stops. And there they are.
Custer still on pit lane, addressing that helmet issue. Well, interesting video there is that 00 Cole Custer pulls away. So he came in, had a helmet issue, changed helmets, went back around. They worked on the helmet that he prefers to wear. Comes back, and they swapped him out again. Is that right?
Yeah, he had on a white helmet for a lap. He couldn't go out there without a helmet, so they put on one temporarily while they figured out the solution for the for his primary helmet. Now he's back in business, and in the meantime, Kyle Busch, who was penalized for too many men over the wall, he came. There's the radio check.
We got just.
Oh, that's got to be a great feeling, right?
It was absolutely.
Finally, people can hear me.
So the 18 of Kyle Busch penalized for too many men over the wall, and the 23 of Spencer Gallagher penalized for over the wall too soon.
Yeah, and what Busch did, we heard him talk about the fact that it was on the splitter. His spoiler in the front was dragging the ground. They used that opportunity, Hermie, when they came back in. It looked like made some adjustments under the hood of that Toyota.
That's exactly right, Michael. They came down, went under the hood, trying to get that splitter off of the racetrack, and so the penalty was in effect anyway, so they came back down pit road. And good thing they had left a couple hood pins or did not have time to put the hood pins back in. They were able to remedy all that. He will start in the back, but hopefully they've got this truck corrected and he can make his way back to the front.
Yeah, and Hermie, if you're looking at the TV and you see that nose up off the ground really high there, you think, well, they did raise that up. That's not the case. When these trucks are going slow, the noses are off the ground. It's the aerodynamic, it's the shock and the springs that take it down as it likes to run on the racetrack when it's up to speed. So that nose will go right down, hopefully not as far as it was down earlier.
But he pulled over to make sure he got to the tail end of the line. That's going to be the penalty for too many men over the wall.
So the pace truck is off. Daniel Suarez, who's led them all so far, except for Tommy Joe Martins, led one under caution when Suarez came to the pits. Suarez on the inside, William Byron on the outside.
Well, we did it once, Phil. Can we do it again? Run these trucks side by side for a lap or 2 here at Kentucky?
Some of these drivers have a little more confidence than they had before, maybe.
Through the oil dry. Teammates on the front row, Suarez and Byron. Hemrick and Christopher Bell right behind him in the second row.
Byron,
so good.
Byron noses out ahead, but the big draft on the inside pushes Suarez back to the front.
Byron holding on. Hasn't quite slipped in right behind Suarez yet. Hasn't given up for that lead. And look at William Byron trying to charge to the front from the outside.
William got the lead that lap. Just by a little bit.
How's he sticking up there? We haven't seen that all day.
Hemrick looking underneath Byron now, trying to get second.
And right along with Christopher Bell, side by side for second. Look at Hemrick.
Oh.
Gets a little bit loose.
Bell will take advantage.
That was a great job by Hemrick to get loose and not get into Byron up on the outside. He gave away a spot, but saved his truck.
Christopher Bell has been on the move all night long. Jerry Baxter's got that Toyota Tundra tuned up after struggling yesterday in practice.
Yeah, you talked about him running here a year ago. That didn't end so well. He spun out here, got into the outside wall, so probably was glad when they told him it was going to be a different truck when he got here.
On board with a 21 of Sauter during this restart.
Whoa.
How about 3 wide? That's what I said. Oh, for a moment. Grant Enfinger, the 24 truck, was stuck 3 wide.
Good job by Enfinger when the 41 of Rhodes got up in front of him and he didn't use him up.
Look
on
at
board with
Hemrick.
Hemrick. Caution is out. Debris in turn 1, we're told.
Debris in 1.
That's a power move by Daniel Hemrick. He was to the inside of Christopher Bell, taking that spot away when the caution flew. I don't know who was ahead at the moment of caution, so NASCAR will have to decide that, but strong 19 forward there for Daniel Hemrick.
Looks like a windshield tear off. Came off one of these trucks. Going to be a big break for Cole Custer, Kyle Busch, who had to start at the end of the line here on this most recent restart. Now they'll be up with the lead lap trucks.
These truckers never disappoint, do they? We talked about a single file racetrack, one groove. They didn't want to hear any of that. They're going to take them 2, even 3 wide.
They were 3 wide that first lap after the restart.
Look at Spencer.
23 of Gallagher way outside the groove.
He was able to maintain a lot more speed than these guys were able to in all the practices over yesterday and today.
It's our second caution of the night, this one for debris. Daniel Suarez has been the man dominating the front so far. Under caution for the second time tonight, this one for debris, a tear off the truck of Cameron Haley. Let's check in downstairs with Hermie Sadler.
Marcus Richmond is the crew chief for Cole Custer. What was the issue inside the truck, and did you get it corrected?
Well, we ended up changing the whole harness, helmet, and everything just to make sure we got it all. But now he can talk to us, so we can diagnose the truck here and hopefully get him up front.
They've talked about the lack of track position, how to pass people in traffic, a lot of track position to make up for the 00.
So Custer is in 20th, and alongside is Kyle Busch in 19th, who was penalized for having too many men over the wall, Mike.
Yeah, you can see there's 8 guys that have come over for some reason. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
You're allowed 6.
We missed it by 2, Phil.
Just barely.
And they had handling issues. They needed to make an adjustment on the nose of that truck. So I don't know if that played into it, but certainly a penalty was delivered to them. Now they've got a chance to rebound from it. Got their track got back at the tail end of the lead lap car trucks at least. So he's got a chance to battle back now.
Well, if anybody can overcome an early mistake, it's Kyle Busch, but he restarts 19th.
How about Daniel Suarez picking the outside?
Interesting.
For this restart.
Been on the inside all the other restarts, but it's Suarez outside, his teammate William Byron on the inside.
I think maybe some team orders working together. William, let me get bound in front of you, and then that way you'll have second locked up.
Well, we're going to see if that's the case. And yes, Phil, I think that was. We saw William Byron be able to really hang on the outside of Suarez. But that bit Byron because now he's stuck on the bottom. How about that? The bottom isn't the preferred groove. Is that what we saw there?
Wow. How about Daniel Hemrick with a great job jumping up alongside William Byron. We're looking at 3 wide back here on a 1-lane racetrack.
Johnny Sauter in the middle, and some contact, but saved it.
That Ben Rhodes, the 41, that was completely out of shape.
Rhodes and some contact with the 29 of Reddick.
And look at Jordan Anderson in that 66 truck.
Coming off his career best finish at Gateway last time out with 11th.
Talked to him. He said, I actually led that race. He said, we're getting better as a team. I think it's evident here, running up inside the top 15.
Side by side, the 71 of Brandon Jones with the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. They're running back there around 17th, 18th.
Ooh, Matt Crafton gets shoved down to the apron by Timothy Peters, left side of your screen.
There on the right side, that contact, you've seen Rhodes in the middle. Now watch the blue truck of Reddick just get into that left rear of Rhodes and somehow saved it. Nobody ended up in the wall.
Look at that 3 wide with Jordan Anderson high. You can see Reddick loses a nose, clips the back of Ben Rhodes, and just sneaking up on the outside. Grant Enfinger. These guys are battling.
Here comes Enfinger. Was the pole winner at Daytona in our season opener. Hasn't raced much this season, but he is on the go. Got by Reddick and Jordan Anderson, but look at Anderson working the outside.
Oh, we got trouble.
Into the concrete.
But Rico's turned around.
One into the wall, and there's some contact and some damage on the right rear of Abreu as well.
That Austin Wayne Self we saw sideways back there.
Get it fired up.
There's Self bringing it down.
Boy, when you can spin and not have any more damage than that, pretty fortunate.
For both of these drivers,
But he
Rico
could
as
drive it
well.
away, yes.
Oh, you can see the damage on the 22s on the left side.
Yeah, it is a little more substantial than we initially thought.
Well, so Austin Wayne Self going to take it to pit lane, as will Rico Abreu.
They were battling for the 17th position.
Yeah, Abreu looks like maybe he was on the outside of Self. Self got loose and they made a little bit of contact. You can see that's pretty significant. Look at the Bondo and parts and pieces fly off that 22 truck as he hits.
Tough break for both these drivers and teams.
I think Abreu's going to be able to get away, Vince, without much damage. This will certainly set Self well back.
He had a season best 13 just a few races ago back at Texas. Did Self. More on that situation with Hermie.
Vince, a lot of damage to the left side, especially the left front area of the splitter and the left rear quarter panel of that truck around the spoiler area. They are obviously doing a lot of work to the left side. They are going to stay here, probably go a lap down on pit road, but a lot of damage to this truck. He will not be as competitive. He pulls away to try to stay on the lead lap. He will definitely be back down pit road.
Let's watch the 4 of Christopher Bell saying, hey, I'm going to go. No, I won't. Peters went ahead and made his way on pit road.
Another truck back there that comes to pit road is Kyle Busch.
Yep, the 29 of Reddick. So
Kyle hadn't made any progress since serving his penalty, so maybe just get a little fuel, get on a different strategy, try to take advantage of his problems. What's happening with Rico, Caitlin?
Well, his team was saying the right front fender looks fine. The splitter is fine as well. Only do what you need to do. Don't over-engineer it. We're going to take 4 tires, adjust the track bar as well, and see if they can't salvage something here for the 98 team of Rico Abreu.
You can see the damage there on the right rear of Abreu, and that's a sensitive part of the truck, Phil. They need that aerodynamics back there. They'll have to beat that out.
Suarez still leading. Great crowd on hand to see it at Kentucky. Back at Kentucky Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Not quite halfway.
We've had an action-packed start to this race, haven't we? We knew it would be crazy. These guys are doing a great job racing side by side.
Take a look at our
Hemrick there saving some gas in that Ford.
Yep, and as we look at our Ford facts, a couple of interesting notes there.
Yeah, Biffle won the first race here back in 2000, and Carl Edwards got his first of 71 combined NASCAR wins in 2003.
Still, well, we heard Marcus Richmond, the crew chief on that 00 of Cole Custer. Remember, they were having communication problems with the helmet. Thought they had it taken care of, but didn't look like it from that video.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe his helmet didn't get properly hooked to his Hans device or something like that, because we heard Cole communicating and they were able to hear him, so maybe it was a situation where the helmet didn't get attached to the Hans device properly.
Well, we had the incident between Austin Wayne Self and Rico Abreu that brought out the caution initially, and then before we could go back to green, Self's motor expired, his engine expired, and this is the end result. We're seeing oil throughout the course of not just the track, but through various pit boxes along pit road.
Yeah, we've put down our share of speedy dry during this race.
Yeah, this is upsetting some of the crew members down on pit road with that oil leaking into their pits. These guys are so highly competitive. They got to have their pit perfect so they can make that perfect pit stop. Can't have oil in your pits, and a lot of displeasure with that 22 truck leaking into the pits.
We saw Brett Moffitt's number 11 truck also have an engine issue earlier tonight. Track spent 15 days putting rubber on this new pavement, trying to break it in, and the guys keep putting down oil to make it slicker.
If anybody can hear me, I cannot.
Check it out. David Ortiz, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, even the Reds, Adam Duvall, all of baseball's superstars coming together for the primetime event that will light up the summer. You know, we're talking about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game from beautiful San Diego, coming your way Tuesday only on Fox. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway under caution. Getting a little track cleanup after the 22 of Austin Wayne Self laid down some oil. It's a good look at Christopher Bell, last year's winner at Eldora, and that's next on our schedule. What a great night that was a year ago, and we expect nothing but the same this time around. Coming up in a little more than a week, Wednesday the 20th, you'll see it. Camping World Truck Series qualifying. We've got the heat races, the qualifying races, the setup show, and then we're going to go racing.
Everybody in our sport looks forward to that truck race at Eldora.
I cannot wait to get there. And what he did a year ago, think about that, Vince. 20-year-old kid comes in there. He's the favorite. Hasn't ever won a Camping World Truck Series race. And
He's only started a few.
They made him the favorite, and he came through.
How about Bobby Pierce? What a job he did in the Mittler Brothers truck.
Oh, I talked about 4 and 5 wide on a dirt track. We saw everything we wanted there.
We've seen plenty tonight, too, including Kyle Busch get an early penalty and have to go to the back. He's currently 19th, Hermie.
Vince, he's made a couple extra pit stops under this caution. He did not put tires on this truck because he's only got 8 green flag laps, but he did like the way his truck was driving. Remember, early tonight, he came down pit road, make some adjustments under the hood to get it off the splitter. He also put a little bit more tape on the grill to create a little more bite or downforce in the front of this truck. He likes his drivability. Look for him to make his way to the front. Also, the 00 will update Cole Custer. He made another trip to pit road. These helmet issues, he is communicating properly with his crew. They made an extra stop under this caution. They got fuel, and they reattached the air conditioning hose to the top of his helmet, Caitlin.
Well, Hermie, Matt Crafton is the defending race winner here at Kentucky Speedway, but he told me prior to the race, with this repave, it's a completely different track. So he said the only thing that's the same is that it's still located in Sparta, Kentucky. He said, so we throw out all the old notebook of what we thought we knew about this place, but it seems like that 88 team hasn't missed much of a beat. He's climbed up into the top 5 after starting 8th, and the biggest feedback he's given about his truck, it's good on entry. I just need it to turn better from the center off.
I think that's great, and we talked about it in the open, Michael. You addressed it, that this track with the new repave and some new reconfiguration, it's an equalizer, even for the guy that won it a year ago.
And listen to him coast there. He's just saving all the gas, Phil. We've kind of done the math on it. They could be getting close to needing fuel before the caution clock expires, and that's what you see all the drivers doing, coasting. You can save as much as a couple of 3 laps every other lap by doing this this method of coasting and making sure you keep that engine shut off as much as you can.
It could be close here because a lot of these guys pitted back on lap number 32. Now, we've got a few caution laps, as you mentioned. The way Matt's doing it, we saw Daniel Hemrick doing the same thing, shutting that truck off, saving a lot of fuel. We know we can go about 40 laps till the caution clock runs out. So if you put 40 laps and the fact that these guys have already run 20, that puts them over 60. Pit window somewhere between 50 and 55 green flag laps.
And you see what Suarez has done tonight, leading 51 laps. Already more laps led tonight than he has in his Camping World Truck Series career up to this point.
And he's got 4 runner finishes here in the Truck Series.
He has been knocking on the door, but has never taken the truck to victory lane, as you see Johnny Sauter coming to pit road.
Could these be some guys making that decision, Phil? Maybe we better get a little gas, getting too close.
Maybe not take a chance. Johnny was up in the 8th spot, gave up 8th spot to come to pit road. He's going to go ahead and put tires on, at least on the right side. Might as well put 4 tires on because he's about the only guy on the lead lap on pit road.
Hermie?
They just want to open some options up, Vince. Obviously, 4 tires and fuel. A little bit of concern of making it on fuel to the next caution clock, but also some discussion. It gives them more options, maybe under the next caution, that they can only take 2 right side tires and improve that track position. So just a little bit of strategy to give them some options for the next time they come down pit road.
Thanks, Hermie. Good point. Opens up some strategy options for the 21 of Sauter, and there's Abreu continuing to get some repairs done on that 98 after the contact with Self.
Yeah, Johnny will give up a lot of track position, though. He's running in the 8th spot. We have 25 trucks on the lead lap, so
track position critical.
Very critical here.
One guy that was happy to see him pull in was Jordan Anderson. He was running in the 10th position. That moves him up to 9th now. He'll restart on the bottom of the racetrack. Great run in the early going by Anderson in that 66 truck.
Suarez takes the inside again. I'm assuming we've got it. He took the outside last time, the inside this time, outside the time before, or inside the time before.
I think it's
confusing me.
Yeah, and I can tell, Phil. And I think that the key is it really hurt Byron when he gave up the spot to Suarez. Byron might have said, let's just race, buddy.
Remember, you start inside. That's the preferred line. You start there, and I'll figure it out myself on the outside.
So the teammates, in fact, 3 of the first 4 are Kyle Busch Motorsports machines. Suarez on the inside, Byron on the outside, and right behind Suarez is his teammate Christopher Bell. And we're back green at Kentucky.
Now, how hard is Christopher Bell going to race William Byron for that second spot?
Byron trying to get on the outside of Bell. Crafton right behind Christopher Bell, and there's Nemechek going to make it 3 wide.
He looks on the inside of Matt Crafton. Matt rolls out of the gas and gives that spot up to Nemechek. You can see Byron pulls in behind Suarez. 1, 2, 3 for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Well, great job by Nemechek taking advantage and getting a couple of passes 3 wide back with now Enfinger and Matt Crafton in the middle.
Look how much momentum Matt Crafton lost by backing out of that 3 wide situation. Got Austin Hill to 0-2. Good run early for Austin Hill.
Check that out for Austin Hill. He saw those guys fighting for the bottom. He went right around the top and took those spots away.
9th place.
Trouble.
Contact. Spencer Gallagher and Kyle Busch. Busch into the wall.
That's us. We're 30, 23 guys.
Heavy damage to the left side of the machine of Kyle Busch.
Looked like Spencer Gallagher just got a little bit loose.
Kyle was 13th at the time.
You can see he can't make any more progress with that truck, taking the wheel off, hopping out. Probably a little bit disappointed and upset with what happened there.
He's climbing out. 23 got us putting in the wall there.
Yeah, we know how much Kyle Busch wants to win these races. We know how much of a team owner is. He wants to see one of his guys win this race, but he would rather win the race for Kyle Busch Motorsports than see one of his young drivers do it.
Well, I remember it was the penalty that put Kyle back there. Too many men over the wall. Kyle was running up well inside the top 10 prior to that penalty and had to go back.
I think the penalty was almost intentional. I think they needed to make some adjustments on that truck, that they needed more people. So I think they knew they were going to get a penalty, but they were going to stay on pit road long enough. They were going to be at the back anyway.
But still, it was the penalty that put him back there.
And then they did like Johnny Sauter. They elected to use that situation to try to get enough fuel, get a different strategy, and make his way to the front. But Spencer Gallagher got loose on the inside of Kyle, and into the wall he went.
Well, it won't be Kyle Busch winning his 46th Truck Series race and maybe winning the race that makes his team the winningest team in Truck Series history because of this situation. Watch the 23 of Gallagher and the 18 of Kyle Busch with Jordan Anderson underneath Gallagher.
Yeah, I think Jordan went into the corner and gave Anderson a little bit of extra room, and that caused him to be higher than Kyle expected him to be, and the two made contact.
It almost looked like Spencer turned away from Jordan Anderson, and that was just enough to get into that left rear of Kyle Busch's truck.
But Parker Kligerman had to avoid that mishap as well, nearly got involved. A couple of guys from Las Vegas went bust.
Whoa, look at
Daniel Hemrick with a caution with lights on got into the outside wall.
what a great restart we had there by John Hunter Nemechek. He is now up inside the top 5. Check out. Saving gas.
In the wall there. Yeah, just next to it. That's 4. Just saw it when you came by here.
Save me some gas and don't hit the wall.
I think we got to pit now, Michael. We've run 26 laps since we were last on pit road for the guys running up in the top 12 spots, and then we know we're going to have some more caution laps, and then we can go as many as 40 laps for the caution clock. I think we got to come down pit road, at least get some gas now.
There'll be varying strategies, I would guess, Phil. You know Johnny Sauter is going to stay out, so we're definitely going to see people choose to pit and a mix-up in the lineup. This is what gets good. If this race hasn't been good enough already, this is when it gets interesting to see who's able to take advantage of pit strategy, gain the track position, and then keep it.
See Sauter turning off the truck.
He just got gas and he's saving. That tells you how important strategy is and making sure you just try to take advantage of everything you can. And saving gas now could help later.
Yeah, he pitted on lap number 54. So if we get back going with the next 3 or 4 or 5 laps, then we know he'll be good till the next caution clock. We've got a couple 3 trucks right in front of him. Reddick, Ben Kennedy, Timothy Peters that pitted on 47. We say we restart about 65, then we go to another 40 laps, 105, then they're going to be about 57, 58 laps. That's probably okay with all the caution laps, but I think all the guys that are pitted on 32 they've got to come in.
And Phil, you keep saying we're going to have a caution clock. I'm beginning to think we're not. We've seen way too much action for that caution clock to come in play. In fact, I think we've had about 17 minutes of green flag racing and 20-some of caution. So this thing is trending toward what you would expect out of a new repave.
Yeah.
Guys really struggling to find grip, and it's been interesting to watch.
We've had 4 cautions. Brett Moffitt early on, lap 26, engine let go. Had a debris caution. Lap 45, Rico Abreu and Austin Wayne Self got together, and then this one as Spencer Gallagher makes contact with Kyle Busch.
I just think that Spencer Gallagher got word in his ear, truck to the inside, you got one on the inside. He moved up in order to give room to the truck on the bottom, and he ran into Kyle. Kyle just turned into the corner as he would normally, not expecting Gallagher to be up there, and I think Spencer was just making sure he gave room to the truck on the inside.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Certainly no intent there whatsoever.
And he didn't get loose. He just was racing. You know, you got to give room, and he went to give room, and unfortunately it took room away from Kyle Busch.
You know, we talked at the beginning about how some of these drivers like Kyle Busch tonight could come into these Truck Series races and steal a win that might take an opportunity away from one of these regulars to get that victory to secure a chase spot. Well, now Kyle's out, and that opens the door for somebody else. Now, Daniel Suarez isn't
Same
championship eligible,
Yeah.
same boat as Kyle, but now maybe Christopher Bell, he's got to win, but maybe it's Hemrick or Rhodes. We've talked about Cameron Haley.
Yeah, Cameron right now is running in the 7th spot. He's certainly still in contention. Got to really give a call to Austin Hill up in the 8th spot right now, along with Grant Enfinger in 9th.
And what a move on the restart. He was running 3 wide up on the outside. He didn't try just to get in line on the bottom. He said, I can make it work up top. And that's as strong as we've seen Austin Hill ever run. He and Jordan Anderson, I think a couple of the underdogs, have proven here tonight on this new repave, it is an equalizer. It gives them a chance to get out there and show what they can do behind the wheel.
Well, Kyle Busch is done. He's exited, gone to the medical center. He'd led in 28 consecutive Truck Series races. That streak ended tonight. But 2 KBM trucks, in fact 3 KBM trucks, lead the pack to pit road. And our pit reporters are there waiting on them.
Vince DeFore of Christopher Bell, his truck is too tight. They're going to put 4 tires, fuel, and make an air pressure adjustment on his truck. Tight center off is Christopher Bell. Caitlin.
Well, William Byron in the middle of your screen has been so strong on the mile-and-a-half racetrack so far. They're just going to take 2 left side tires only. Taking a look at Daniel Suarez at the bottom of your screen. His crew chief says it's just too risky to not pit this time by. They're going to do fuel, wedge adjustment, and also make a 4-tire stop for the 51.
Well, that 4-tire stop from the 51 is going to give up the lead. William Byron was the first one out.
He's going to lose a lot of spots, you can see.
We'll see what the tires, they make a difference. Inching closer to the halfway mark here at Kentucky Speedway. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series under yellow because of an incident involving Kyle Busch. Hermie caught up with him just a moment ago.
Kyle, you got back in traffic due to some issues on pit road. What ultimately happened on the racetrack?
I was self-inflicted, I guess. Yeah, got back in traffic, and I don't know. Going down the backstretch, thought I left enough room on my inside, and I know who I crashed with, so that doesn't surprise me. Now I know how John West Townley feels, so you know, it's just a shame. Brand new truck and really good piece, and you know, destroyed.
Kyle Busch out tonight at Kentucky.
Here's what Kyle was talking about as that contact occurred with John West Townley. He's referring to this incident at Gateway, our last race out, in which Townley and Spencer Gallagher got together.
Yeah, he dives
a couple of
down
times.
Then dives down on the inside of Townley and just wasn't really room to make that move there to put Townley into the outside wall. And then, of course, there was a second accident, and then there was a wrestling match.
And Gallagher lost.
Both drivers fined and put on
Yep.
probation.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because John West Townley, suffering from concussion-like symptoms, unable to race in this race tonight. And don't know that that was a direct result of the scuffle, but as having some balance issues, wasn't safe to race tonight, so he's out of the truck, and Parker Kligerman is in that 0-5. And Spencer Gallagher, we make somewhat light of it, but Spencer Gallagher certainly doesn't want to be in that situation either, and he certainly didn't want to be in a situation where he wrecked Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and it wasn't intentional either last time out at Gateway or this time, certainly with Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that was racing. He just got in a position where he felt like he needed to give some room to the inside, and there wasn't room to give. But think about Kyle Busch Motorsports. He was 1, 2, 3, and Kyle was running fine. He crashes, and now his trucks are scattered all throughout the field. We've really mixed things up here in Kentucky.
Timothy Peters on the inside, Tyler Reddick on the outside, back green at Kentucky.
Little pit strategy got these guys up front with some track position. How about Reddick going for the lead on the inside?
The crossover as Peters came up in front of Reddick, and Reddick went right back underneath him and goes to the front.
Not so quick, Vince. I got some bite on this outside. Timothy Peters is going to try to take the lead back, and look at Sauter going 3 wide.
Wow, Johnny Sauter making it interesting. Custer is there on the outside as well.
Big wiggle by the 9 of William Byron over there in turn 4.
Look at that pack of trucks there.
What happened to this all being one groove throughout the course of the night that we were expecting? It's 3 wide. Sauter to the lead.
How about aggressive move by Johnny Sauter?
Look at the gaggle of trucks chasing the leaders. Everybody jockeying for position.
Right now, Johnny Sauter's the only one that is single file. Everyone else is side by side.
Look at them slipping and sliding as they try to deal with being side by side. And Phil, I think this is just truck racing. They get such big drafts, such big runs, and they just bail out and make the slingshot right at the entry to the corner.
Well, watch what Matt Crafton was dealing with there. There's William Byron right in front of him.
Byron says, I think I see a spot.
Yeah, there's a hole right there in the middle. Wow. I got this.
Oh, Garrett Smithley wobbling all over the place. Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton had to come out of the gas. You get back there in that traffic, it's tough going.
That's the second or third time tonight we've had to see Crafton get out of the gas to avoid an accident and then end up losing several spots because he lost the momentum.
Doesn't take hardly anything to lose enough momentum to get passed by some other trucks. Great racing here, though, for third on back.
Reddick in third, Custer right behind him. Johnny Sauter is the leader as you see John Hunter Nemechek look inside of Gallagher for 5th.
John Hunter takes the bottom away. Gallagher up the track a bit. He's going to lose that spot. William Byron looking to the inside of Spencer.
Byron gets past Gallagher, sets his sights on Nemechek. There's Crafton muddled back there in that 13th spot.
Right behind a couple KBM trucks, Suarez and that orange truck. Christopher Bell right behind him.
On board with Hemrick. It's Jordan Anderson on his outside.
These guys are still running some fast laps. Our fastest lap was just barely over 30 seconds flat. That's an average of about 180 miles an hour.
It's Cameron Haley in the 13, Ben Kennedy in the 33. They're battling for 8th.
Remember Brandon Jones in qualifying outside the top 20. We knew he had a good truck. He finds himself in a position to race inside the top 10.
There's that 51 truck up ahead as you look on board from Christopher Bell's viewpoint. Suarez has been the one that's dominated this race. He's led 59 of the 69 laps, but when most others pitted in that last pit stop rotation for 2, his team took 4, and he lost that track position.
And remember, he's had clean air this entire race. This is the first time he's been back in some pretty heavy traffic. Ben Kennedy makes a nice move to the inside of the 13 of Haley. That's been in the white blue number 33.
Oh, wow. Ben dives deep into the corner. Can he hold it off of Haley? He does a nice job on the bottom.
Brandon Jones there in the thick of it in that 71 truck, having a solid run tonight.
These truckers are racing like I don't think any of the experts in the garage area thought we would see here at Kentucky. We've got Xfinity races, and the Cup guys, they're all grinning from ear to ear with this action they're seeing. They know it's going to be a great weekend here in Kentucky.
They didn't see this coming. They didn't think the groove was going to widen out enough with these truckers.
Well, even the truck teams weren't expecting it to be this wide.
Exactly, and they didn't start till lap 1, widening it out.
And look, we're going to go 3 wide here.
And why wouldn't we?
3 wide, Tom, here, 3.
Hemrick inside of Christopher Bell, the winner in our last race at Gateway.
Look at that big move by Suarez, late on the straightaway. That's the draft. These guys are able to utilize that draft and grab spots away.
Byron taking the spot from Reddick for fourth. William Byron, 18 years old in that 9 truck, already 3 trips to victory lane this season. Hemrick and Bell still working on one another.
That's a battle for the 13th spot right there.
Bell gets it.
Remember, Bell looked like one of the fastest trucks here earlier, but through the strategy, he's found himself now racing outside of the top 10.
Strong move by Grant Enfinger, but bad angle getting in the corner. Did a nice job recognizing that. Backed off, kept that truck right on the bottom.
Look at
Pressure.
Timothy Peters. He's driven up to the back of Johnny Sauter and brought John Hunter Nemechek with him. Those 2 trucks, Peters, Nemechek, they're the fastest on the track right now. You can see Peters getting a look to the inside by Nemechek, and they're both running down our leader, Johnny Sauter.
Halfway, slap 75 of 150, caution clock under 15 minutes. Boy, haven't had much use for it tonight.
Halfway, did you say? I'm worn out. I feel like I've run half this race.
Sauter went from 4th to 1st on our most recent restart, and he is out front with Timothy Peters and John Hunter Nemechek in pursuit. Remember, Sauter won the season opener at Daytona, then fell on some hard times with a 28th, a 32nd, and a 16th, but since then has gone on fire. 4th, 3rd, 10th, 4th. Been one of the best trucks in the series.
Watch that number 9 truck. The last lap, he was a full quarter of a second faster than anyone in the field as he takes over the 3rd spot from John Hunter Nemechek.
His time the last time by, Phil, would have made the top 12 in qualifying at the end of the race, at the end of that session. So he is running some amazing times, and he is going to be on Johnny Sauter's tailgate before long.
Timothy Peters in 2nd. He's had some good runs here before. Hermie having another good one tonight.
Yeah, Vincent, this team really needs a solid run, not to mention, obviously, a win. Last time out at Gateway, I'm not sure I've ever seen Timothy Peters more frustrated than he was that entire weekend with the way the truck performed. They worked on it, made it better, got a decent finish, but this team is used to running up front. As you mentioned, Vince, scored more points on the mile-and-a-half racetracks than anyone else in the series this year, but they know how big a win tonight would be for that 17. The 21 won at Daytona. The 17 wants to get it done tonight here in Kentucky.
Well, when you look at the points, you think Peters is okay. He's 30 to the good. But if he doesn't win and we get some other guys that win and you fill up those 8 chase spots with winners and you don't have a victory, doesn't matter whether your points to the good or not.
Yeah, I don't think Timothy Peters has points on his mind right now. He has wins on his mind.
Amen.
And he sees the lead right there in front of him.
Yeah, and everybody he's racing around has already won. So he knows that those guys are going to go for broke. They're going to give it all. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. They win, they keep somebody like Peters from getting to victory lane and guaranteeing himself a place in the chase. These guys are going to be intense about grabbing the lead, as is Peters. He gets to the inside of Sauter.
Yeah, Sauter got held up by a little bit of lap traffic, and Peters is going to the front, and Sauter will slip into 2nd. William Byron now challenging on the inside. Sauter lost that momentum because of that lap truck, and now he's going to lose a couple of positions.
Yeah, I think William Byron will go ahead and finish this pass off when they get down to 1 and 2, and he may bring John Hunter with him.
How about this? You've got the 4 trucks and the 4 drivers at the front. Johnny Sauter, 38 years old. You've got the 2 teenagers, Nemechek and William Byron. And then you've got the man out front, Timothy Peters, 35 years old. I mean, what a great mix in this truck series of the veterans, the older guys, and then you've got the teenagers, and there's Byron now putting the lead to the test of Peters.
Yeah, Peters got hung up behind a lap truck, lost a little bit of momentum, and that was just enough for William Byron to catch him and drive right on by.
And look who's coming, John Hunter. He's got a really fast truck. Those teenagers have hunted down the 2 veterans, and they're taking over at this point.
Well, William Byron has been so fast this season. He's won 3 times and really could have won another.
He was running 2nd at Atlanta and lost an engine late in the race.
If you want to know how competitive the Truck Series is, while our leaders were mixing it up, the fastest truck on the track was Grant Enfinger in 17th position. that tells you how good the trucks are from front to back. They just need to get that track position. They got to figure out some strategy and see if they get up front, they can keep it.
Out front, William Byron. 4.5 mile starts this season, 2 wins. William Byron, a 3-time winner this season, twice victorious on the 1.5 mile tracks, is out front at Kentucky Speedway.
Really surprised, Vince, that he hadn't been able to drive away from Timothy Peters. And I think John Hunter Nemechek has the fastest truck on the track right now. He's able to stay right on the tailgate of Peters. I think he's just looking for a way around. He could go up and grab the lead. I like that 8 truck at this point in the race.
Yeah, William Byron, John Hunter Nemechek are on the same strategy. They both pitted on lap number 61. Timothy Peters right now in that red and white truck running second, pitted on lap number 47.
Our caution clock is ticking, as you can see. It's down to just over 7 minutes.
You assured me we wouldn't have the caution clock come into play.
I'm still not sure we will. I think side-by-side racing here at Kentucky on this new surface. How long before somebody makes a mistake that takes a couple of trucks out?
Watch how hard Brandon Jones is working inside of that truck.
Oh, yeah, and despite that, he's going to go down the other end and do that same thing again. He wants that spot.
And right behind the two of these competitors is Daniel Suarez. He's led the most laps.
Hemrick right now.
Hemrick just got around Suarez. Suarez's truck doesn't seem to be near as strong back in traffic as it was out front.
Yeah, he had to clean air early on until he got back with some pit strategy back in traffic. As we see Brandon Jones on the inside of Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell's going to be able to get the momentum. Look, and here comes Hemrick again.
There's nowhere to hide here. If you get a little bit loose, lose that momentum, somebody's going to be all over you for that spot. Brandon Jones just figured that out.
Yeah, it seems like when you get past and have to get out of the gas at all, you lose at least 1 more and sometimes 2 more positions.
Not so fast, says Jones. I'll get him back. How'd he do that?
Just drove right around the outside of Hemrick.
Ben Kennedy challenging Daniel Suarez now. That's for 12th.
Great move by Kennedy. He grabs that 12th spot.
Kennedy's on a nice roll. 3 straight top 10s.
You know, William Byron, the KBM trucks were running 1, 2, 3 when they came to pit road. William Byron put 2 tires on. He came out several positions ahead of Suarez and Christopher Bell. He was able to make some nice passes, get up front here. I think track position when we get down towards the end of this race is going to be the winner.
If you just joined us, Kyle Busch is out of the race. Was involved in a little bit of contact with Spencer Gallagher back on lap 57. Put Kyle hard into the wall. He went to the medical center, cleared, released.
And just remember, Phil, to couple your comment about track position, we saw a little bit of blistering on these Goodyear tires due to the intense speed in this new pavement. They brought a great tire. They felt like the tire wear and the blistering would get better and better as they put laps on these tires, but that's something these crew chiefs have to factor into their decisions. They can't just simply put in gas to get that track position. They might need 4 tires at some point.
Jones and Hemrick, Gallagher, all clustered together. They're just around the top 10. They're running 9th, 10th, and 11th. On board with Hemrick, with Gallagher on the outside, and Brandon Jones just ahead.
You see Ben Kennedy in the 33 Jacob Company's truck. He's sitting there checking these 2 out, looking for a slip, looking for a way around so he can get up in the top 10.
There's the 13 of Cameron Haley in 7th. Caitlin?
Well, Cameron Haley has made his way into the top 10, but this team has had a series of tough races, most recently at Gateway when the team finished 24th. But Cameron told me his crew chief, Eddie Traconis, is a great team leader at keeping everyone motivated, won't hang his head when the going gets tough. He said, I've struggled with crew chief relationships in the past, but this one is a very solid relationship and friendship. Now, so far tonight, he said his truck is a little bit tight, but he told me at this point, we have to go out and win. We are disregarding the points. He says, if we're going to the chase, we got to get a trip to victory lane.
Well, it's only fitting that Cameron Haley would run for the ThorSport organization, which is based in Sandusky, Ohio. Of course, home to my favorite roller coaster park, Cedar Point, because it's been a roller coaster type season for Haley. The only 2 races they really haven't had a problem. Atlanta, he finished 2nd. In Iowa, he finished 3rd. So if Haley has a clean race, he can show he can run up inside the top 5.
Yeah, and he's proven us he can win, Phil. He just needs a clean race. He needs something to go right from beginning to end because he has the speed to get the job done.
You're looking at the top three. Hunter, John Hunter Nemechek in third, Timothy Peters second, and William Byron the leader.
You know, right now we've run about 30 laps since we restarted after that last caution flag. Christopher Bell has moved up into the 8th spot. Daniel Suarez still outside of the top 10, and that's 30 laps. So that's how important track position is.
Look at John Hunter.
Kligerman has come to pit road. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, Kligerman with 4 tires, with a 4-tire stop, maybe a issue there. We'll have to check on that with our pit reporters. But look at Nemechek. He's able just to keep right pace with our 2 leaders. Peters has heated up William Byron's tailgate the last couple of laps. Looks like they've both been able to keep Byron from getting away. And look, Peters even going to go for the lead here.
Williams going to give him room. Going to maintain his speed, though, on the outside. Actually, a pretty good corner for William there on the outside.
You don't think they're going to purposely start running up in that second groove, do you?
The caution clock inside of 2.5 minutes. Pit stops coming. Let's check in on what the crew chiefs are thinking. First with the 17 team in Hermie.
Shane Huffman is the crew chief for Timothy Peters. You got your driver up front about 2 minutes before the caution clock. What does Timothy need to get out front, and what do you plan to do on this pit stop?
Well, I think we got stuffed our toe a little bit around the lap truck there, and that allowed the 9 to get by us there. But super kids out front there. But I think we got a pretty good little wheelman here behind the 17 Red Horse Tundra ourselves. So I think once we get some clean air on the next stop here, we got a great pit crew. We should be okay. Got a really good truck. Guys have done awesome on pit road all year, really. So just looking forward to this last stop.
Looking for the 17 on pit road in just a couple minutes. Caitlin.
Well, Hermie, Rudy Fugle on the 9 team of William Byron currently pacing the field. I heard William giving you some feedback. What's he saying about the truck, and what do you think you might need to change on this stop?
Yeah, our truck's been good, pretty good. Liberty University Toyota Tundra has been good. It's been a little tight this last run, but we got the lead. We just got to keep it. So we'll see what happens. It should be exciting.
William Byron on pace to possibly get his 4th win so far this season, guys.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of company. Caitlin, Timothy Peters is better right now. He just can't quite get the momentum on the inside. This could be the move here. Nope, tucks back in.
There are 2 strong trucks right behind our leader. Byron is the leader, but Peters and John Hunter Nemechek right there.
And it looks like that 9 truck has gotten tight. You can see he just wants to wash up off the bottom a little bit, and Peters is right there to try to take advantage of it.
Nemechek falling off a tick now as Peters continues to hound Byron.
I think to keep track position, because this is the last time when this caution clock runs out in about another lap, that we will turn it off, because we would be inside 20 to go if the clock would run out again, so it would not be in play.
Boy, those lap trucks get your attention, don't you? Running 20 or 30 miles an hour faster than them, then have to dart up and go high on the track.
So I think this is going to be our last pit stop, I believe. For at least the guys that are going to finish up front, this is going to be the money stop.
Final seconds ticking away as the caution clock winds down, and we anticipate the yellow coming out momentarily. And there it is.
Yellow.
Caution clock.
I like where Rudy Fugle and William Byron are positioned, because remember, they put left side tires on last time. So I think they're very comfortable going with right side tires. We have 47 laps to go. We got to fill them up with fuel. I think we can do that, put right side tires on that 9 and be good to go.
Keep that track position.
Keep that track position.
Well,
Yeah,
we saw
because
Daniel Suarez when he gave up the track position on the last pit stop. He came in leading. He took 4. Most of the others took 2. And Suarez is mired back there in 12th.
I almost think right now if you take 4 tires, you're taking yourself out of contention on this pit stop right here, because it vents exactly what you said about Daniel Suarez.
And just think about Johnny Sauter. He didn't have any speed early in the race. Now he's got the track position, and he's been able to hang right up there inside the top 5. Rudy Fugle talks about the 9 truck being tight, wouldn't turn in the corners, pushing up a little bit. If they get right side tires, that lower air pressure, that'll be perfect for the 9 truck. That could be the call that wins him the race.
Rudy Fugle's got that stopwatch in his hand. He wants to make sure they get enough fuel in, the proper amount of fuel, not any more than what they need, and get them out immediately. We've heard from the crew chiefs. We've heard from Shane Huffman and that 17 team driven by Timothy Peters. We heard from Rudy Fugle and the 9 team driven by William Byron. There's John Hunter Nemechek in 3rd, Johnny Sauter 4th, Tyler Reddick 5th. Heard from the crew chiefs. Now let's watch the pit crews go to work. Let's crank it up on pit road. Timothy Peters gains one position. Is that the position that could win him the race? The restart is next at Kentucky. And lows of the racing tonight at Kentucky Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We're under 50 laps to go, and on that money pit stop, well, Timothy Peters came out first, but then there was a problem, Hermie.
Huge mistake, or miscommunication rather, for this race team. They had told Timothy they were getting 2 tires and to wait on fuel, but they dropped the jack after the right side tire change, and Timothy took off. You can see they also made a wedge adjustment. When they dropped the jack, he took off, and you see the gas man starting to go for the second can, but did not get it in, so they came back down pit road, put another can of fuel in, and put his left sides on. Also want to update Johnny Sauter. He was too tight on exit. They put on 2 tires, fuel, and took wedge out of the 21. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, William Byron is trying to get that 51st win for Kyle Busch Motorsports, 4th for their team specifically. He said they were a little bit tight, so they made a wedge adjustment, also put right side tires only and fuel for that 9 truck. As far as John Hunter Nemechek, who's now currently P7, he said, I'm a little bit snug, but I would not do too much to it. So they made no adjustments, put on 4 tires, and filled it up with fuel.
Wow, what a costly mistake by the 17 team. So Timothy Peters, instead of restarting with the lead, will restart 19th. William Byron on the inside. Daniel Hemrick still seeking his first career win on the outside. Back green with 42 to go at Kentucky.
Look at that big push Christopher Bell is giving Hemrick. It's going to get him up even with William Byron as they hit turn 1. Can he hang there?
Side by side through turn 2 and down the backstretch. 4 wide behind them.
About Grant Enfinger. That's him way down on the inside. William Byron has the advantage over Hemrick.
Oh, and they're up out of the groove in the back of the pack. They all make it somehow.
So Byron to the lead, Hemrick second, and Byron's teammate Christopher Bell in third as you ride on board with Matt Crafton, who's 9th.
Oh, look to the inside goes Crafton. He took 4 tires, Phil. One of the first trucks back that way.
Cameron Haley did too. He's a couple spots ahead of him. Cameron Haley also with a 13 truck taking 4 tires. And we have to mention that Daniel Suarez was penalized on his pit stop. He had to go to the back of the line here along with Timothy Peters.
Yeah, too fast exiting for that 51 of Suarez, who dominated the early stages of this race, led 59 laps early on. Far and away the most laps led, but it doesn't look like it's going to be his night tonight.
How about Reddick driving right back by Crafton?
And now Crafton tries to do the crossover, can't make it work. Grant Enfinger in the 24 truck following, watching. They're side by side up ahead. Kennedy trying to get to the inside of Haley, can't make that work.
And Reddick did get to the inside of Jones in the 71 truck. Here comes Crafton. He's going to jump to the inside of Reddick once again.
Wow, great racing all over the track here at Kentucky.
I think Crafton ran that corner wide open to get by the 29 of Reddick.
Look at this battle for the lead. Daniel Hemrick, we talked, looking for that first win, looking to put himself into the chase all over the back of William Byron. But Christopher Bell in that other fast KBM Toyota is right behind Hemrick.
And look at the gain he gets from the draft there as they get down in turn number 1. 3 wide here. There's Timothy trying to make a move around Jordan Anderson. Again, that miscue on pit road will cost Timothy a shot at this win.
And notice the caution clock is not in play because it would expire inside of 20 to go, and the caution clock does not come in play in the final 20 laps, so it is out, no longer a factor. As you see John Hunter Nemechek and Johnny Sauter battle for 4th.
What a good run off of turn number 4 for John Hunter Nemechek. He used that momentum to get up beside Johnny Sauter and then beats him down through 1 and 2.
Yeah, this 8 truck of John Hunter Nemechek is one of the faster trucks. Look, we got a battle for the lead. Hemrick tries to look to the inside of William Byron as they enter turn 3.
William Byron, a 3-time winner already this season. Daniel Hemrick looking for his first career win.
How about that? He tries to dive in for the lead in one corner, 5 truck lengths behind in the next. That's how much momentum means to these trucks.
And we saw that before the caution flag. We saw William Byron move up the racetrack to give the guy behind him some room and actually gain on him by running the high side.
We know it's not going to be Kyle Busch winning the race. He's already out after an accident. But if one of his trucks, like William Byron, who's currently in the lead, would happen to win, it would be Truck Series win number 51 for the KBM organization. And that would set a new series record. But a lot of racing left. 35 to go, and Daniel Hemrick has something to say about it.
Yeah, and you talk about a tight truck, the front end not turning like you want it to. That will get worse as you go through a run. So the more laps you put on your tires, the more your truck will want to go straight when you get to the corner. If that's the condition that Byron is fighting and Hemrick is able to keep his truck turning, could be an advantage for him as the laps wind down.
And remember, right now, William Byron has clean racetrack. He has all that air pushing down on the front of that truck, helping it turn.
Yeah, you would think with that situation you could just drive away, getting through these corners wide open. But that's the equalizer again, the fact that they have enough grip to run the corners wide open, and then they take advantage of the draft down the straightaways to close up on the trucks ahead of them.
A couple of good races in a row for Daniel Hemrick. He matched his career best finish our last race at Gateway when he brought it home 3rd, and now he is chasing the leader in the late stages here at Kentucky.
I think we know William Byron to know well enough. He's running as fast as that truck will go. He's going to run every lap that way. Be interesting to see if maybe Hemrick, with his enthusiasm and being so close to victory, has ability to save a little bit for that truck. Maybe take care of those tires a bit so that he can make that run later.
We know he's a smart racer. He's a great short track racer. He's been really, really smart in the time he's been in the Truck Series here, so you just don't know if he might be saving a little bit.
I know it's got to feel good for him to be that close and see that leader and size him up over these last 30 laps.
You look at our top 5, William Byron, a 3-time winner this season. Christopher Bell won our most recent race at Gateway. John Hunter Nemechek in 4th, also a winner this season, as is Johnny Sauter, who won the season opener. So the only one in our top 5 who doesn't have a win this season is Daniel Hemrick. All of those factors pouring in and making him want it even more, if that's at all possible.
There's a good shot of Daniel Suarez now all the way back into the 14th position here with just 31 laps to go.
I just feel like this 8 truck's going to have something to say about who wins this race. You can see him pulling up on the inside of Christopher Bell. He's going to take that 3rd spot away. He's the only guy making moves. That's the 2nd pass he's made within the top 5, and he's got his sights set on Hemrick now. Look at him right down on the bottom of the racetrack, bottoming out as he enters the corner.
And he made that pass exactly the same way that he passed Johnny Sauter. Got a run off for turn 4, got up beside him down to at the start-finish line, and beat him down through turn 1.
30 to go at Kentucky. William Byron, 18 years old, a 3-time winner this season, and Daniel Hemrick chasing him. Hemrick trying to score his first ever Truck Series win. It's going to be an exciting finish, but you'd expect nothing else in the Truck Series, would you? We've delivered them every week. So Some of the biggest names and the best drivers have won here at Kentucky. Ron Hornaday, your all-time series winner, won 3 times here at Kentucky. Crafton has won, Biffle, Benson, Todd Bodine. Carl Edwards scored his first career Truck Series win here at Kentucky.
Yeah, this is a different Kentucky, though, that those guys faced.
A completely different surface. This is the first time on the repave and a changing of the track, but it has not dimmed the excitement, that's for sure. We have had a drama-filled race tonight with some great racing, 2 wide, 3 wide, even 4 wide at times, and we weren't expecting to see that with this repave.
Not at all, but man, they have not disappointed. John Hunter Nemechek was the fastest truck that last lap. He's got a little ground to make up. He's about
coming.
a second behind, but he's definitely coming, guys.
He's picked up that draft now, so he'll drive right up to the back of these guys. And Phil, when do you start thinking about, if you're Daniel Hemrick, if you're John Hunter, maybe letting off the gas a little bit, entering the corner, get that gap out there 3 or 4 truck lengths, and try to make a strong run off the turn and take advantage of that draft. Draft up beside the old-fashioned slingshot like we used to see in the 70s and 80s.
Well, we know John Hunter knows how to do that because he made the pass for 4th and for 3rd by doing that very thing.
Not sure if the tires are really that big of a factor that could play out yet, but of the top 6, John Hunter Nemechek is the only one that took 4 on that last stop.
There's a bunch of Cup crew chiefs and Xfinity crew chiefs thinking, okay, let's see how this plays out. We felt like track position was more important, but John Hunter Nemechek has done a great job of taking advantage of those 4 fresh tires.
We've reached our Camping World 20 to go, and it has been an exciting one to this point, and we expect nothing but more of the same in the final 20 laps. William Byron leading, trying to win his 4th of the season, and Daniel Hemrick trying to win the 1st of his career. But John Hunter Nemechek is going to have something to say about it too, I believe.
Let's mention where 2 of our leaders from earlier back now. Timothy Peters, remember, made a miscue on pit road. Back to the 11th spot. Daniel Suarez, too fast exiting the pits, only back to 13th spot. Both those drivers with 19 to go outside the top 10.
Kyle Busch involved in an accident that ended his night early on.
Nemechek is there. He has now positioned himself to where with the right run off the turn, maybe can draft up and grab that 2nd spot.
And how it might have an impact on the chase. William Byron obviously already good with 3 wins. John Hunter Nemechek has been victorious this season as well, so he's in a good position. But Daniel Hemrick, even though Hemrick is inside the top 8, a win would certainly go a long way in securing his hopes for a chase spot and an opportunity to run for the championship later this season.
Yeah, that's exactly what's on his mind right now, Michael.
You know, Phil, and there's a chance.
Good run right there. His best run so far off of 4.
Lost that momentum due to passing the lap truck, did William Byron. But Phil, you know, just winning will take so much pressure off that young man and that team. They can know that they're going to race for a championship, and they can start planning for it. They've got to get that win, though.
It certainly looks like Hemrick and even Nemechek are faster than Byron. Is that the truth? Are they really faster, or is that the draft that they're in and able to take advantage of it?
I think it's the draft has certainly pulled them up there, but it's all going to come down to lap traffic and momentum. If William Byron slips 1 tire or has to get out of the gas because of the way he catches a lap truck, those guys will be right by him.
And how many times have we seen it when somebody has to get out of the gas just for a moment? It not only cost them 1 spot, we've seen it cost them a couple of spots most times tonight.
Yeah, multiple spots as crew chief Rudy Fugel's keeping an eye on William Byron. There's Chet Kendrick, crew chief for Daniel Hemrick. Right now they said it's in their hands. We've done all we can do. It's up to these 2 young men.
You're better than he is. You're stronger than he is. Go get him. You can get this.
That's just good
Cheerleading, a little cheerleading.
You have to have that.
And there is Nemechek. Throw a blanket over the top 3.
Can you imagine the pressure Byron's under? He's got to be perfect every lap, or he knows he's going to give this race away.
Well, we know he's been able to handle the pressure with 3 wins already this year.
He's super kid.
Shane Huffman, the crew chief for Timothy Peters, called him.
I can't argue that.
You're living up to it, right? He's won 3 times, 18 18 years old.
When he led a bunch of laps this year, too, even in some races that he didn't win.
Well, remember in Atlanta, he showed up and ran up front and had an engine problem. But it was impressive right from the get-go here in 2016 with William Byron.
Byron's got to be perfect as he's coming up on a lap truck.
Caught that one in a good position,
Yeah,
Vince.
yep.
Well out of the way.
Byron might like to see Nemechek get up there and hassle Hemrick a little bit. That would maybe create a little breathing room for William Byron. Byron gets that draft and takes a look, but just can't quite get underneath William Byron to make that move.
He's down to the inside. I just like the way Daniel Hemrick looks. It looks like he's going to be able to get lower than Byron, and if he's able to do that, that might give him the momentum off the corner he needs.
Yeah, William recognized that it looked like Daniel had a bit of a run, and he kind of pulled down a little bit to stall that momentum. These guys are good friends. William actually drove for Daniel Hemrick in the snowflake down in Pensacola one time.
Looked like Hemrick lost momentum there. Maybe he got into the wake of Byron.
Yeah, and Nemechek is going to take advantage. Nemechek underneath Hemrick, side by side for second place.
Wow, I can't believe Nemechek didn't get loose there. He had a bad angle to the corner, but he was able to keep it off of Hemrick. He's going for that second spot.
See Daniel Hemrick pull down the side draft.
Hemrick lost just a tick of momentum, and Nemechek was able to challenge, but it looks like Hemrick is going to hold him off.
That might have been a race-saving move by Daniel Hemrick, keeping that 8 truck behind him.
And William Byron was looking at his mirror saying, keep doing that, y'all. Keep doing that. Run side by side. I'm going to run away, but that's not the case. Hemrick was able to regain the second spot.
9 laps remaining at Kentucky, and there's Christopher Bell in fourth. Might end up joining the party before it's all said and done.
Yeah, he's gained a half a second here in the last several laps.
This is a big night for Bell, because even though they do have that win, Crew Chief Jerry Baxter telling me earlier today that if by chance there would end up being 8 or more winners, they're not real secure in their points situation. So if they don't win tonight, they want to make sure that 4 team has a good point tonight, and he certainly seems in position to do that right now. Under 10 to go. Let's check in with Hermie.
You guys mentioned the fourth, Christopher Bell. Last time they put right side tires on the right rear tire that came off of this truck, had some signs of blistering, so he was a little bit tentative to begin this last run, but they have since turned him loose. And as you guys mentioned, some of the fastest laps being run on this racetrack right now are being run by Christopher Bell. The problem is there enough time for him to join this battle up front?
Yeah, Bell about a second and a half behind the leader, William Byron. As you see the lead, Byron being chased by Daniel Hemrick.
I wonder if Hemrick could start looking around maybe a half a groove up higher than William Byron in the corner. What he's done so far, Phil, just hugging that yellow line, it hasn't worked. He's got to start mixing it up and maybe try to run a little bit of a higher line to gain some momentum.
Yeah, he got his left side down a little bit too low on the apron. It cost him a little time that time in the middle of the corner. Lost a truck length or two.
He can't find any fresh air. He can't find any air for that nose on the bottom, because that's where Byron is. Might be wise for Hemrick's spotter to say, just give me a half a truck length wider in the turn and see if we can make anything happen up there.
Yeah, give me one corner. Try it one corner and see if it looks like it works, because right now he's got to keep his eye on the 8 truck of Nemechek. He doesn't want to let Nemechek get in front of him.
Everybody inching closer to the edge of their seats. 5 laps to go at Kentucky as Hemrick looks inside of William Byron.
He missed the corner.
Here comes the 8. Here comes the 8 of Nemechek.
Probably going to cost him a spot.
For second place, Nemechek. Can he make it stick this time? No. Just what William Byron wants. He wants Nemechek and Hemrick to be fighting for position.
And fighting they are.
And that's also what Christopher Bell wants. He's looking up ahead and seeing those trucks side by side, thinking, keep it up, guys. I'll be there. Nemechek's loose.
Big wiggle from the 8. Saved it.
How did he do it, Phil?
I don't know. And never let out of the gas either.
Nemechek finally makes it stick.
Bad angle into
Yes,
the
it
corner,
was.
but he's going to make it work.
So now Hemrick slips back to third, and maybe his chances of a win out the window. Does Nemechek have enough time to chase down William Byron?
Can William Byron win his 4th race out of the first 10 this year?
And a record-breaking win it would be for William Byron and the KBM team. It would be the 51st win in series history for Kyle Busch Motorsports. That would be an all-time record.
But look how fast Nemechek is closing in on Byron. He caught him over a half a second that lap, and the 8 truck of John Hunter Nemechek was a half a second faster. Just a blazing lap for Nemechek.
About a lap and a half remaining. Nemechek all over the back bumper of William Byron.
We've seen him make a lot of passes exiting turn number 4 here.
Nemechek hoping that those 4 tires pay off. White flag is out. 1 to go at Kentucky. Byron leads. Nemechek in second. Daniel Hemrick in third. Through 1 and 2 they go. Byron trying to hold off the 8. Nemechek looking outside. Byron block.
Oh, Nemechek off
Turn
the road.
3.
Bounced off the apron, lost some momentum.
William Byron is going to do it. He wins at Kentucky in a record-setting victory for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Awesome job. We got a great team, boys.
He's right about that. Pretty great driver, too.
They got Super Kid behind the wheel.
What a bright future we have in our sport here with William Byron and John Hunter Nemechek finishing 1-2. Daniel Hemrick right behind, as well as Christopher Bell.
In his first start at Kentucky Speedway, William Byron wins, and it's the record-breaking victory for Kyle Busch Motorsports, the winningest team all time in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Caitlin is with the crew chief, Rudy Fugle.
And he has earned his 4th win with William Byron. What has impressed you the most about this young racer?
He gets it. He just goes out there and does it. He's smooth, and he listens to everything we say and just goes. It's pretty amazing. What a win. I mean, we weren't the best right there. We weren't as good as we needed to be, but we had the track position, and we made it work. So that's 51 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. This team's been a part of a bunch of them. It's pretty cool. It's cool for Kyle and Samantha. We got a great team back at the shop and here. I gotta say, hey to my son. He broke his foot today, so I can't be there. He's gonna have surgery tomorrow, so I want to say hey to him, and I miss him, and thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
4 wins for William Byron, ties Kurt Busch for the most by a rookie in the Truck Series. Kurt did it back in 2000. We know the great driver and champion Kurt Busch has become, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen with William Byron in the next 15 years.
He's only got 13 more races to maybe exceed that record.
I like his chances. And a good run for Daniel Hemrick as well. And I know he's disappointed.
Yeah, look at the frustration there. So close.
John Hunter Nemechek was second tonight. He's with Hermie.
Yeah, he's debriefing with some of his Chevrolet teammates and officials, and I can see the disappointment in your eyes. Had you been able to get past the 19 earlier, would you have had a shot at the 9?
Most definitely. The 9 slowed down there at the end. He was complaining about a vibration, so I was pushing as hard as I could. The 19 kind of messed with us a little bit on the right side quarter, got us loose a couple times, and finally I got by him. So it's racing. It sucks to be disappointed with second, but I guess that's a good thing. We're getting some momentum back. My guys have brought a great Nemco Motorsports Chevrolet Silverado here for me, so hopefully we can keep this going, go on to Eldora, and have some fun there.
It's John Hunter Nemechek. He's second.
Yeah, his win earlier this season at Atlanta. Second place finish of the campaign, as you see William Byron going to get that checkered flag. Super Kid Shane Huffman called him, and I don't think anybody's going to argue that. He did it again. Byron, the winner at Kentucky.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
What a beautiful night it is in Sparta, Kentucky, especially if you're viewing it through the eyes of 18-year-old William Byron, who wins for the 4th time this season. Thought maybe it was going to be the night that Daniel Hemrick scored his first career win. It didn't happen. He ended up 3rd. Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, a solid run for this team, but you and I talked before we came back from break. Aggressively going for the win probably cost you a shot at 2nd, but talk about racing with the 8 and the 9 those last few laps.
Yeah, it was definitely the 9 was put in a situation where he had to run a perfect last 40 or 45 laps there, whatever it was. So congratulations to those guys. I feel like I was a little better than him there at the end of the run, but track position being so key. Like I get close to him and then I get tight, and like I said, he did everything he could do there to keep covering my nose up. And my run started getting greater and greater coming to him. And I was, like I said, I was trying to, like I said, play a little bit of offense and defense there at the same time. And obviously with the 8 coming, I felt like he was going to stall out. The same thing that's happened to me is happening at 9 there. But all in all, like I said, proud of this entire Oakmont Management Group Ford F-150 team. We, like I said, could have been content there to run 2nd, but I tried to get close enough to him to free him up, got to the apron, and that's what ultimately cost us the win and 2nd place there. So really heartbreaking for these guys. They're bringing fast enough trucks here to put ourselves in the victory lane, and so unfortunately I couldn't get a job done for him.
It's Daniel Hemrick, solid finish. He finishes 3rd.
Yeah, disappointing and frustrating. We certainly understand it. There's our winners so far this season. Kyle Busch Motorsports has won 6 of the 10 races, including 4 in a row. It wasn't Kyle's night tonight, but boy, his young driver, William Byron, did score the win. He celebrates in victory lane, and Caitlin is there.
Well, it has been an incredible rookie season for William Byron in this Truck Series. 4 wins for this young man. William, how special is this for you to be part of history for Kyle Busch Motorsports getting their 51st win?
It's incredible. I mean, to be part of this organization, I said it last week, you know, just it's so awesome to have Kyle and Samantha support, Toyota support. We have great Toyota Tundras, great JGR power tonight. So it's a dream come true to get a 4th win like this, and just keeps going, man. I just got a great team behind me. I just want to thank Liberty University and everyone that puts it together.
Congratulations. William Byron continuing to impress in this Truck Series, Vince.
Take a look at our chase standings, and William Byron just strengthened his spot atop those standings with that 4th win.
And Jerry Baxter got his wish, a 4th place finish for Christopher Bell, who has the win, now solidifies himself in that top 5 in points.
The big mover was Tyler Reddick. He went from 9th, 1 spot out, to a pretty solid 8th place position, 12 to the good.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick right now is the first truck without a win. 43 points to the good, but I think he wasn't thinking points. He was thinking win, chase. And, you know, he lost 2nd because of that battle, but to me, 2nd, 3rd's the same difference to him.
Not only did you see it in his actions, you could hear it in his words, how tough it was to lose that race.
Well, our next broadcast coming your way from Eldora. Coverage begins at 5 o'clock Eastern. Mark it down, July 20th. For Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip, Hermie Sadler, and Caitlin Vincey, I'm Vince Welch. That's it from here at Kentucky. Now stay tuned to FS1 for the Ultimate Fighter finale weigh-in.